All right. Hello and welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining for our webinar today covering AI in DeviceLink. And I am Jerry Abbey, the head of marketing here. And with me today is Gavin Shalil, our product manager. Gavin, if you wouldn't mind doing a quick intro.
Hi, Jerry. Thanks for having me. My name is Gavin Shalio. I've been with Copia about a year and a half, and recently we have been working on developing AI-powered features for DeviceLink, extending our Copilot product, and we're really excited to give you a tour today. And I'll pass it off to Caitlin.
Yep, thanks, Gavin. And I'm Caitlin Lockridge. I'm a senior technical solutions engineer here at Copia. I work primarily alongside our sales team, helping with technical conversations and demoing our product. So I'll be getting to show you guys the product today as we walk through this Deminar.
Thank you, Caitlin and Gavin. All right, so we're going to kick it off with a few introductory slides, going through who Copia is today, then going through AI and DeviceLink demo, and then we'll leave time for any Q&A if there is any. So starting with who Copia is, I always try to start with the context of where the manufacturing distribution industry is today. And today's reality is that you, as an enterprise organization, have a dozen plus plants. Here we're guesstimating around 18 locations. And within those 18 locations, you have 2,000 plus PLCs, 2,000 plus associated devices. And we're pulling this data from our recently released State of Industrial DevOps report, which surveyed 200 executives within North America from a majority of enterprise organizations to understand the picture of what they're operating in today. And in addition to all those many devices, there's a large mix of PLC vendors. Here, just estimating a mix of Siemens, Rockwell, Codesys, and for each of you, it's going to be a different blend. And when you're thinking about backups, when you're thinking about your version control, it's typically manually done, kind of ad hoc version control. You might have a third party of some sort to help with that, but often ad hoc and piecemeal. And within all of this, because this surface is expanding year over year over year, is the thought of OT cyber vulnerability. When you have that many devices and you're running manual backups and you have piecemeal version control, how can you really be assured of your OT cyber resilience? And I want to just paint a picture of today's possibility. If you have a system in place that has automated backups and change tracking within your code management, it can be a completely different world, and it can centralize all of your operations and give you a single pane of glass understanding of what's happening in your operations, what's backed up, and it helps you with running rapid recovery scenarios so you can understand if there is a weather event, a cyber attack, another failure that cascades across the organization, how quickly you can recover from that failure. And the last piece, and most important, one of the things that Copia was built on is being multi-vendor, vendor agnostic, because there's a mix of these different PLCs and other devices within your OT operations, being able to centralize all of that industrial code into one place. Now, if you're not as familiar with the OT stack, or you are familiar with the OT stack but haven't thought in terms of modern structure, we put together this slide to show where IT has gone over the years, starting with the operating systems and databases and building up with different asset management and into their own backup and disaster recovery. Manufacturing and distribution have followed a similar trend, but it's taken a little longer, and it started with building up the devices, networking within the plant, and then in the last 10 or so years, having real asset discovery through different organizations like a Clarity, a Dragos, and a Zomi that also comes with OT monitoring, security monitoring. And now today, now that you can identify all those assets, it's important to back them up. And that's where Copia comes in building this OT resilience, cyber resilience stack for you. So where Copia is today, we have Copia AI, which we're going to be highlighting in DeviceLink today, but it's an AI layer to help power everything that we're doing. And that's Git-based source control, helping you to do everything with your industrial code, and DeviceLink to automatically back up all of your code. Security, I've mentioned a few times, and just want to highlight some of the things that Copia brings specifically. It's that change management rigor, the backup integrity, your ability to recover and have confidence in recovery, and your access control and visibility into who's changing code, when, and why. Now, I mentioned our State of Industrial DevOps report. This went out over the wire last week, and I just want to highlight that it had a lot of really interesting findings. And one of the biggest ones that's a central focus of the report is around downtime. We started this last year. This is the second annual report. And everywhere we could, we stacked the year-over-year findings together so that you could see what's trending and really understand things that you should be looking at within your operations. And downtime certainly is a huge and impactful number to be looking at. If you want to download the report, I put the QR code here in the upper left. That'll lead you to the landing page to download it, and I welcome you to do that. And with that, I'm going to pass this over to Gavin.
Thank you very much, Jerry. I'm here to tell you a little bit about why we built AI features into DeviceLink. So if you could move to the next slide. We know at Copia that modern automation code and managing modern automation code at scale, the reality of it means that you're always going to have changes you don't expect or you don't see coming. So understanding how critical these changes are and acting quickly and efficiently and triaging and acting is going to be key to making sure your organization can grow and manage all that code. So the purpose of AI in DeviceLink is to make it faster to triage code changes that are discovered in backup as part of a backup process and let you decide whether to action them at an earlier stage instead of waiting for manual code reviews in every single case. So in this case, I've diagrammed out two workflows, one without Copilot in DeviceLink and one with. And the reality is when you receive a change notification through DeviceLink, which DeviceLink already gives you instantly as soon as it detects modifications in a project, there's going to be some lag time between when you open the email, when you open up Copia, and when you actually inspect those changes, which require interpretation of the ladder logic, understanding which of the many projects that you may manage is being discussed here, understanding the context of that project, and then delegating, choosing whether to ignore the change, whether it's not critical, or to action the change, whether it is critical. The reality is a lot of changes are probably not critical. A lot of changes may just involve minor tag values or other non-critical config values changing, and you probably don't need to act on them. However, the reason review is critical is because there are always going to be changes that need to be actioned, that needed to be reviewed in detail by another member of the team, or you need to take some time to understand why the change was made. And Copia will help you, but you will need to go through the entire process of reading the code first. The advantage of adding Copilot into DeviceLink is that you can get descriptions of these changes generated immediately. Those descriptions get included in your notifications. You can read them in the product. You can read them in your notification emails, as Caitlin will show you. And that means if there are non-critical changes, such as a typo getting fixed in a comment, then you can discover that immediately and make sure that you don't need to action them. This saves you a lot of time when it comes to opening up, rendering projects, understanding the code, and making decisions. We estimate that it will reduce the average review time for an out-of-band unexpected change by about 1/3. And we hope that, as Caitlin will show you next, that this will lead to greater efficiencies in your process and greatly reduce the time you need to oversee large amounts of code. All right, Caitlin, I'll pass it off to you.
Perfect. Thanks, Gavin. Let me go ahead and share my screen and we will jump into DeviceLink and take a look at these AI descriptions. So starting out here in DeviceLink, we're going to be on the job history page. That's just giving us a breakdown of the backups that have run within the site we have selected here. We'll see we've got information related to these job runs. We get the result and all of that information in this table view here. And another thing, which I'll highlight in just a moment as well, is that you can set up email notifications for these job results also. So if you're wanting to just monitor your inbox instead of monitor the job history page here, you can do that as well. We do have those AI descriptions in those email notifications, which I'll show in just a minute. But from this table view, the easiest way to access them will be to hit your drop down here under the job result. So for your modified job result here, there were some code changes detected. You want to quickly see the AI description that was generated for that backup. This view is going to give you that description here. You'll see a high level commit message attached to it and a bulleted list of those changes summarized. Just a few examples to click through here. You can easily see those modified views here. This is going to give you the information you need to make the decision to either, accept this change and move along with your day, or to dig into the details and click over to see what those changes were. So I'm going to show the email notifications first, and then we'll dig into the details a little bit more so you guys can see what that looks like. So the email notification, just like what we saw in the job result table there, we'll see the summary message listed here with our commit message and then a description of what those changes were. And then you can click the link from that email in your inbox to follow over to that job. If you do see something in there that piques your interest and you want to go click on that to see what that change specifically was and make a decision around it, you can just follow that link there. Or if you're in the web application looking at the job run history, you can just click view details and view those job results from there. So that's what we'll take a look at here. I've got a few different examples just to show you guys some examples of what it may look like. So this is going to be one that has quite a few changes in it, giving you a summary of what those are. So we've got some sequence and AOI logic changes here. It's going to give me some specifics around what those different routines were that changed and AOIs that changed here. And then if I scroll down, I'll get to see what those changes were. So this is going to give me the specifics that I can go in and review. This is that existing piece of DeviceLink that already was in the product prior to AI. So this is going to give you the ability to go in and see what those changes were, to click through, see what those different routines look like now, and then make decisions from there, whether you need to revert back to the previous version because maybe something in here is causing a change, or maybe you just need to make some additional tweaks to the code from this, or you can leave it as is. So another example, this one will have fewer changes in it, but just to give you an idea, this is giving you a really good description of what the changes were around some parameters here. So we got those changed, and then there was a latch that was changed to unlatch. So we'll just see quickly in this sequence routine here what those changes were. If you could view this from the job run table, maybe you were expecting to see those and you wouldn't even need to click over to see these changes render. So really helpful in cutting down the amount of time spent digging through those details as well. And then the last one's going to be a situation where maybe this really triggers your interest, where you see something change related to the safety code that's updated in the commit message here. It says something around safety was updated, and then you've got the safety locked was enabled here. So you can see that rendered where it went from no to yes. So that might trigger your interest where you want to go see what was going on with that. So just helpful in making decisions quickly on the fly. With that, that's all I have for AI and DeviceLink. So I'll go ahead and pass it back to Jerry.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Caitlin. Thank you, Gavin. And I think with that, if there are no more questions from the audience, I didn't see any come in yet, we can wrap it. So thank you all for attending, and thank you so much to the presenters today. Have a wonderful day, everyone.